Now, who were the rulers who actually ruled Delhi? The rulers were, first there were the Rajput dynasties. Now, the first ones were the Rajputs, the Tomars, and the ruler was Anangapala. He ruled from 1130 to 1145. Then there were the Chauhans, and Prithviraj Chauhan was a great ruler who ruled the Delhi Sultanate from 1175 to 1192. Then there were attacks and a lot of wars, and the Turkish came and ruled Delhi. The Turkish rulers were Qutbuddin Aibak, and he has also been known to construct the Qutub Minar. He ruled from 1206 to 1290 C. Then Shamsuddin Iltutmish, Razia, she was the first sultan who was a female. Then Ghyasuddin Balban. Now, after the Turkish, there were the Khilji dynasty. They all come from one root. Those were the Arabs. The Khilji dynasty included Jalauddin Khilji, who ruled from 1219 to 1296, and then Alauddin Khilji from 1296 to 1316. Then came the Tughlaq dynasty. Ghyasuddin Tughlaq was the first ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty who ruled the Delhi Sultanate. Then Muhammad Tughlaq, and in the end Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Then came the Sayyid dynasty, and Khizr Khan was the only ruler in this dynasty who ruled the Delhi Sultanate. Then the Lodis. Lodis marked a great impact in the history of Delhi. And there are evidences that still denote the existence and the way they ruled their administration. The ruler who ruled the Lodi dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate was Bahlul Lodi. So, as you can see that there has been a lot of multicultural rule under the Delhi Sultanate. Thus, we can see this in the architectural form as well. Even today, that what all these dynasties brought to the administration, governance and infrastructure of Delhi Sultanate. But what are the evidences, or how do we find out about these Delhi Sultans, the exact dates of their rule? So, Tariq or Tawarikh are valuable histories. They are mostly written in the Persian language. And why were they written in Persian language? Because Persian was the language of administration under the Delhi Sultans, and thus it provided a lot of information about the reign of different kings and queens. It was written by learned men who were the secretaries, administrators, poets, courtiers, who would encounter and re-encounter the events of the history, who have witnessed the history themselves. They used to advise rulers on governance, emphasizing the importance of just rule. Therefore, so the memoirs or the records of these people give us the evidence as to what happened in the histories. So, as you can see here, there were manuscripts earlier, and these people carefully used to maintain a record of every event that was being taken place at that time. Now, we need to keep following ideas in mind when we talk about Delhi Sultans. The authors of Tawarikh, they used to live in cities and mainly Delhi. They never used to live in villages since they were a very integral part of the court. They could not live far away from the court and had to be there present in the capital. They often wrote their histories for sultans in the hope of rich rewards. Now, if we are writing a book today, why would we do so? So that we can sell it further and we would gain profits out of it, isn't it? It was the same at that time. They often wrote histories, manuscripts to present them to the sultans and the emperors so that they would get rich rewards in return. These authors advised further to the rulers in order to preserve an ideal and favorable social order which was based on birthright and gender distinctions. So you can see what were the two bases for rule that time: birthright and gender distinctions. Not everybody, however, followed these ideas, because for everyone to follow these ideas of doing something or having an occupation according to a specific gender or birth would not be accepted overall. In 1236, Sultan Iltutmish's daughter Razia Sultan became Sultan chronicler at the very young age. Minhaj-e-Siraj stated that she was more able and qualified than all of her brothers. Therefore, not the sons of the Sultan, but rather the daughter of the Sultan got the place of ruling an empire. However, he was not comfortable at having a queen as ruler, and nobles were also not happy to see a woman in position, and there were a lot of attempts to fail her reign. However, in 1240, she was removed from the throne. Let's talk more about Razia Sultan. So, a circle of justice. Fakhr-e-Mudabbir, he wrote in the 13th century that a king cannot survive without soldiers, and soldiers cannot live without salaries. Salaries come from the revenue that is collected from peasants, but peasants can pay revenue only when they are prosperous and happy. This is what happens when the king promotes justice and honest governance. So, this highlights that what kind of administration and governance should be established. Then, now let's talk about what is Minhaj-e-Siraj. Now, Minhaj-e-Siraj thought that the queen's rule went against the ideal social order created by God, because women are not supposed to be in the position of power and always supposed to be subordinate to men. He therefore asked, in the register of God's creation, since her account did not fall under the column of men, how did she gain from all of her excellent qualities? This was an argument so that Razia Sultan could become the Sultan of or Empress of the Delhi Sultanate. Now, on her inscriptions and coins, Razia mentioned that she was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. This was in contrast from the Queen Rudrama Devi, who was the queen of the Kakatiya dynasty. This was a queen of the dynasty of Warangal. Now, a part of modern day Andhra Pradesh. Rudrama Devi changed her name in her inscriptions and pretended that she was a man, so that just she could rule the empire. Another queen, Dida, she ruled the Kashmiri dynasty, and her title is interesting. It comes from the word Didi or elder sister, an obviously affectionate term which is given to the loved ruler by her subjects. Now, what is the idea here? There was not just one empress or one ruler who was a woman. There were several examples in our history that a lot of women ruled their respective empires. But yet, a lot of cults and organizations did not believe that the women are authorized to rule and sit on the throne. Express Minhaj's idea in your words. What do you think? Did Razia share this idea?